Hey everyone, welcome, welcome. Happy Tuesday to you. And for those on Instagram, if you hopped on moments ago when you thought I was live, that was a fluke, if you haven't figured that out. A little bit of operator error, right? So you know to expect that from me. Hi, everyone. Thank you for hopping on here on Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube. I appreciate you all being here. I hope you have something to drink. I have my water, with my new water cup. Do you love it? I love it. And we're ready to talk about picky eaters. So if you're new to my broadcast, give me a hashtag new and let me know that you're new and I'll welcome you happily. I can, for those on Instagram, it's scrolling a little fast for me to welcome you individually. So I welcome you. Hi, CL. Oh, you have been doing so many wonderful things. So many wonderful things. Holy cow. I love your little recordings and we need to talk soon because we keep saying we need to talk and we haven't talked yet. Hi, Trusty Rafa. Rafa, I'm hoping is your name. Either way, I'm sorry if I'm butchering it, and I welcome you to my broadcast. Thank you. Oh, and let's see, Varroke is new, and Mrs. J. Ree is new, and Segura Sen is new. Rita, hi. I'm from Pakistan. Oh, thank you, honeys. Thank you for joining me. I'm so glad you guys are here. Odinton, hi, neighbor. How are you? Molly. It's hard to read the names because they're so small and I'm so old. But welcome, neighbor. We're right around the corner. I love that. And another new person. So excited to have you all here. So if you have a picky eater or you have kids at all, or maybe your husband is a picky eater or your wife, please share this out to your friends. Hi, Vino. Welcome to all my new friends. Arusa, thank you for clarifying. Grandma, Rosie, hi, welcome. I'm also a grandma. So let me tell you who I am for all of you that are now joining, and a lot of you said you're new. I'm Celia, and I'm a family and relationship empowerment coach. And what I do is I help parents create family harmony because there's so many areas of our life that kind of go crazy, yes or yes, with kids, and they're always lighting up the room in either a really fun way or sometimes in a not so fun way. So I am on a personal mission to help 10 million parents stop yelling at their kids, and all of this is done by instilling many strategies and techniques into your home. Having a parenting system, a system is what you need. We all have systems for everything in life. And yet, for parenting, so many parents think, I don't need help. And yet, we have the responsibility, the biggest responsibility in life, of raising another adult. So I am grateful that you are here. I'm so grateful that you're spending some of your valuable time to listen and to really help your kids. Please go on my social sites and review other videos where you might need areas of help with. All right. So, I'm a mommy. I'm a mom of 5 children. 2 I gave birth to, 3 I gained through marriage. I've been successfully parenting a blended family now for 28 years and have been a real live mama for 41 years. And I'm the grandma to 9 kids. So really, really wonderful life I lead. And all my kids have lived to talk about their childhood. So yay for that. Okay, let's get started. Let's not waste time because I know you're here to learn about things for your picky eater. So I just did a reel about a little trick you could do with a picky eater, and it got such great response. I figured I'd go live and give you a little more information on things you can do to help your picky eater. So cheers to all of you. Oh, there's my alarm. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. Did I lose you guys? Can you hear me? Can you all hear me? Please tell me you can hear me. Can you guys hear me? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear and see me on Instagram. Please, I hope you can, because if I have to start this over, it's going to be not easy. I know you guys on Facebook and everything can hear me. Yes. Oh, good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So let's get talking about kids and eating. One of the best things that you can do to encourage your child to eat more things and have better table manners is to eat together as a family. Now, I know many of you do that. Do you have to do that every single meal? Clearly, you don't. And sometimes it's impossible. We run a fast life. And sometimes it's just plain not easy eating together every meal. But what I highly recommend is as much as you can eat together, please do. Remember what a great role model you are for your children. And if they see they're eating with you, they see what you're eating, they see how you're eating, they see you using utensils and cups and all of those things, they are learning and mimicking what you're doing. So super important to eat together as much as possible. Plus, what else is great about eating together is it naturally slows the intake of food into our face. Why? We're talking. We're talking. We're not just shoveling food. Sitting in front of the TV set, terrible, terrible. I know we all do it. I do it too. Terrible because you just shovel food because you're distracted. But when you eat together at a table and not with entertainment in front of you, you eat better. So, what does that bring up next? That brings up, should a child have a tablet or a phone to watch while they're eating? And many people feel like, well, that's the only way I get my kid to eat. The problem is, number one, they don't need to be entertained 24/7. Number two, when you eat at the table together, conversation entertains your child, communication, bonding, relating to each other. That's what entertains them. Thank you, Anapan. But when you get in the habit of them always having to have a tablet or some kind of screen in front of them when they eat, no matter where you go, you have to do this. So you're creating a problem where a problem doesn't exist before you created it. Does that make sense? You're actually creating something that maybe down the road you're going to need to break the habit of. It is best not to start. Now, I hear you. You're like, well, we already started. We already put a screen in front of our kids. We already, they watch our phone, whatever. So you're going to have to break that habit if you don't want to do it any longer and tell them, you know what, guys, we're not going to watch screens anymore while we eat. We are going to talk. Yes, let the conversation be the dopamine driver, not the screen. Make jokes, play funny games, talk about something you're grateful for. That when I'm with my grandkids, we play a game, would you rather? Would you rather do this or do that? Would you rather be this or be that? And we all go around the table and take turns. Much more fun than just blindly watching a screen and no conversation. Okay? Now, what about them being picky? The first thing I want you to know is that our fist size, this is my fist size. We all have different fist sizes because they are related to the size of our bodies. So your fist size and your child's fist size, which is probably half of yours, is their serving size per serving. So, like if you're having chicken, rice, and broccoli, each part of that meal, chicken, rice, and broccoli, their serving size is their fist size. So often we load up the plate with our kids with a normal serving like we would take. And then we're like, well, you guys aren't eating, except that they ate like 5 bites, 4 bites, which is probably their fist size. So please keep that in mind when feeding your kids. They're not going to have the amount of food that we as adults have. Okay. Fist size, number one. Sometimes they will need to try a new food. And I like to encourage this. Some people don't believe in it, and obviously, it's up to you. It's your family. I am going to say encourage it because you don't know what you don't know. They may love a food and they don't even know it because they've never tried it or they're afraid to try it or they just don't want any part of it. I remember giving my grandson when he was about 5 years old those seaweed sheets, the sheets that are, I guess, baked and salted and they come in a tray and they're a bunch of sheets. And we were in the car and he was hungry and I said, "Try this." Now we have a tradition of trying foods in our house. My kids, my grandkids. 3 no thank you bites. Why 3? Because the first one is strange. They may or may not like it. The second one is a little better. Normally, it's a little better to taste. The third one will really let you know whether they like it or they. If they don't like it by the third bite, they don't like it. Okay. So he looks at this green sheet of seaweed and he says, "Gammon, is this one of those things that I'm going to taste and I'm not going to like it first, but then I'm going to really love it?" And I'm like, "Absolutely." And so he tasted it, excuse me, and he wound up eating the entire pack. Rita says, "My kids are too afraid to try or even touch new food." So, Rita, I'm going to give you another suggestion for that. Okay. So that's one thing. And you can start encouraging those no thank you bites. There's a lot of things you can do to encourage them. So here's one thing: groceries. Take them food shopping. There's a few games you can play at the food store. You can play the color game. What is the color game? The color game is everybody picks a color. You go into the produce section and they pick a fruit or vegetable that they've never eaten in that color to take home and try. That's one game they can play in a way to get new foods in there. Okay. You can also go and play um, a game in the store where you go through the whole store and everybody gets to pick out one thing somewhere in that store of their choosing. And I recommend it being healthy, not like, okay, I want this brownie. Everybody wants brownies. Something different, something new, whatever they want, they pick it for you. That's my little poem I just wrote. My daughter only wants to eat blended mashed food. Yeah, and sometimes texture is a big thing. So we'll talk about that too. Okay, so that's another thing you can play. Pick whatever you want. And if you want to specify the aisles you go down, could be a frozen dish, could be something. Okay. Let them pick one food all on their own. Whatever it is, they pick it. And I would not recommend them doing a dessert. If you want to branch out, have them pick something. Get them involved in meal planning. Get them involved in shopping. Get them involved in making the meal and serving it like little, chefs. You can even buy a chef hat for them to wear. And then kids tend to eat what they make, what they put together. Now, blended foods, Ara, you said your daughter only likes to eat blended and mashed foods. Smoothies are great for this. Cannon says, all your game hacks are so fun at the same time, so helpful. Oh, thank you, honey. Yeah, you got to make it fun. If you want to get something done, you've got to make it fun. People ask me all the time why I'm so good with kids. I'm so good with kids because I think like a kid, because I want everything to be fun. So you've got to make it fun. Think of a game, be creative. If you can let your kids make up a game. Do funny things at the table. And you can do funny things for meals, like have breakfast for dinner, or have an entire meal in the same color. We talked about the color game at the grocery store. You can play the color game at home where everything you fix is the same color or various hues of that color. There's all kinds of fun stuff you can do. You can have a pirate dinner. I don't know what pirates eat. Fish. Do they eat fish? But you can do a lot of things. If your kid loves something like dinosaurs, you can look up dinosaurs' favorite foods and make a dinosaur meal. Make it fun and creative and get your kids involved. You can have, you can have what I call a caveman meal. And I don't know why I call it this, but it makes me think of cavemen. You put paper on your table. You can make spaghetti, make meatballs if you like, sauce, and use your hands to eat. Make it fun. Have the kids mix together the spaghetti and the meatballs and the sauce and eat with your hands. What's the worst that happens? It makes a mess. And then you clean up the mess. But the kids will eat and they'll have a good time. And what making mealtime fun does is it makes it not so stressful. It makes it not be such a battle. If we're always stressing about what our children eat, it makes them stress too. And you don't have a good meal and they don't have a good meal because you're always fighting. Remember to pick and choose your battles wisely. I told a story in the reel I just made about my son who used to not want to sit at the table, and he was about 3 years old. And the Ninja Turtles were popular, the original ones. And we created Ninja Bites. And every time he would leave the table, he'd have to run around the house. One time, I'd yell Ninja Bite. He would come over and take a bite of food and chew it and swallow it. And then he'd run another lap. And I'd say Ninja Bite. And the Ninja Bite thing went on for like a year. He ate all his food. We ate peacefully. It was great. My daughter won't eat her lunch at school. Any suggestions? Thank you. You're amazing. Thank you, honey. You are amazing too. We'll talk about lunch in a second. Okay. So be creative. And I'm happy to tell you that Kyle is now 35 years old and he sits at the table and eats his meals. So if you're thinking, oh, this is going to affect them for the rest of their life, it won't. Believe me. Make it fun. For lunches, have your daughter, I don't know if she helps you make her lunches, but have her help you. So maybe if you're not sure, you can put a few things out for her to pick from, and she can help make her lunches and put them together. Number one, it's good. Why? Because eventually she can make her own lunches. Number two, make them the night before so they're one less thing you have to do in the morning. Okay, we're talking about blended foods. Smoothies are a great way to eat. I just had my smoothie this morning. My smoothie is what I call a power smoothie. It's the same smoothie I make. It includes all the vegetables I have in the house, all the fruit I have in the house, liquid egg whites, which if your child doesn't eat a lot of protein, hold on, please. You can buy liquid egg excuse me, liquid egg whites out of the carton. They're pasteurized. They're completely safe and edible right out of the carton. And you can add it to things. They have no taste. You can make a banana strawberry smoothie and add liquid egg whites to it. And your child and you will never know there are liquid egg whites in there. They have no taste, and it's a great way to add protein. So I add my liquid vitamins to my smoothie. You can add anything to smoothie, and it's so fun for kids to help make. Ara says yes, but she wants all 3 meals blended, which I don't think is normal. Some kids, honey, are really sensitive to texture, and will she eat anything blended? Doesn't matter, just has to be blended. Because my thought is also you could give her a fork like to mash things. So if she has a potato, she could mash it if she wants to. I don't know how old. Did you say how old she was? Ara, tell me how old she is, please. So they can mash their own food. Yes, she'll eat everything as long as it's blended. Okay. Another thing you can try to do is give her small things to eat. So you can put like 3 little bowls in the middle of the table for your picky eaters. And you can put in beans. You could put in things like peas, blueberries, things that they can grab with a finger and eat, and just pick up and eat. Could be mandarin oranges. Things that complement the meal. Don't put anything in there that's going to distract from the meal. So if they only eat what's in the middle of the table, they've got a good meal. If they eat beans and blueberries and peas, great meal. She's 2. Okay, my 2-year-old girl is also obsessed with the blended food pouches and is weird with texture too. Um, yeah, because but don't make a smoothie. She eats fruit and she doesn't want a smoothie, that's okay. At 2, it's very common for them not to like, textures. Keep in mind, if you don't know already, that the taste buds on a child, they are like multiplied tenfold the amount of taste buds we have as adults. So they taste everything, flavors are stronger, textures are stronger. So when they eat like broccoli, to us, it can be an odd taste, but to them, it can be a really odd taste. Okay. So just remember that. And if they want smoother things, teach them to mash stuff up. You know, you can also use toothpicks to pick up little food, make hors d'oeuvres. But if you put in the middle of the table the beans, the peas, craisins, raisins, nuts, things like that, that they can pick up and eat with their fingers, put that in the middle of the table, even whether your child likes smooth food or not, and it gives them an option of something to eat. Don't invite them. Don't be like, eat this. Just put it there and you take one and eat it so they know it's there for the taking. A lot of times it can be a control battle. Yes, but it stresses me out. I see 1-year-old eat food chunks, but she doesn't. I know, but you know what, honey? Don't compare your children because it is a phase and she won't be like this forever. I, you know, I learned long ago when my kids were little. My daughter was 9 months old. Both my children were born very big. They're both 10 and a half pounds. And my daughter now is 41 years old. So I was worried she wasn't rolling over. I think she was 7 or 8 months. And the doctor said to me, do you know any 20-year-olds that don't roll over? And I'm like, no. And he said, so what are you worried about? So I offer to you, don't worry so much. Don't think that this will be this way forever. My son says, I don't want to eat anything. He says, I want to keep my tummy empty, and he's 3 years old. Talk to him, explain to him. Let him help understand how a car needs gas and so does a body. And our gas is food. Also, you can take him to a place like a petting zoo where they let you feed animals. So he's feeding other things. Why are they hungry? Why are they feeding? Because they need energy too. So compare it and relate it to other things. My daughter likes fruit. Oh, I mentioned that, doesn't like smoothies. So just be creative, parents, and don't stress about the small stuff and try to make it fun. So for the one whose son doesn't want to eat, wants to keep his belly empty, you really need to explain to kids why we eat food. Why is food important? Because our bodies don't run without food. If we don't have food in our belly, our body's not going anywhere or doing anything. So explain that. Like I say, read books about eating, watch shows about people eating, go to petting zoos, go to pet stores, show them how they feed. You can call a pet store, say, when do you feed your pets? And go. Pet stores are free. It's like a free zoo right in your neighborhood. That doesn't even matter what weather it is. And kids love it. They love seeing all the animals. That's a huge variety, fish, stuff like that. If you have pets, talk about what would happen. What if your doggy didn't eat? What if your kitty didn't eat? What if your fish didn't eat? Relate it to other things so he can understand how important food itself is to our body and to staying healthy. My kids have this weird thing about tomatoes or anything related to tomato. Yeah. You know what, Rita? Not the worst thing in the world. Tomatoes are very inflammatory. Just I would really recommend, Rita, that, you just say, okay, so let's eat what you like and not stress about the tomatoes. They want pizza, make it without tomato sauce. Make your own pizzas. Get like tortillas, put the tomato sauce out, and you can put it on, not putting on, put all the toppings in a bowl. They love to make things like that. I had a class where I taught toddlers about cooking, and we were making crunchy roll-ups. And a crunchy roll-up is a recipe I kinda made up because kids love to make things. And it's a tortilla, and you line it in honey, you put blueberries, granola, coconut, anything else that you wanna add to that can put on, and then the kids roll it up, and they eat it. It's delicious, and it's very healthy, and you can substitute whatever for anything. It's important to make things like that because they're fun to make, then they're fun to eat. Well, in my class, my this little boy, he was 3, his parents said he'll never eat that, and she made it instead of him, and he took that roll up and he threw it in the garbage, and she said, "See? He's not eating it," and he walked over to the table and he made his own roll up. His very own roll up, and he ate the whole thing, and she was amazed. So it's, sometimes just let them do it themselves, and also be careful. Be very careful, parents. I know we don't always do this intentionally, but be careful not to predict what they will like or not like. So somebody serves them something, don't automatically go, "They're not gonna eat that." Don't even talk about it. Whether they eat it or not, put it on the plate. Here's a couple things you can play with your kids too. I encourage you to not be a short order cook. I encourage you to all eat the same thing. But if you're oh, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. Thank you for joining me, Rafa. I appreciate it. So remember that if you're serving a child food and they tend not to eat a lot, if you serve your food on a big plate, then 3 little servings of food look very small, and they look like, "Oh, this is not much to eat at all," and your child will eat it. Another thing you can do is serve a plate, divide the food in half, and let them pick which half they wanna eat. And then even though the halves are probably about the same size and the servings are probably a fist size, they're gonna just pick a side and then they eat that side instead. Choice is a wonderful thing when you give it to them because they make the choice. You're not telling them. And then it's also a way of building integrity and responsibility because now they made a choice and they have to stand by it. So, uh there was another question early on, and I can't remember. If I didn't answer your question, can you put in the comments again? Let me see if I can find this other question because I was going to mention it and then I forgot what the question was. But if I didn't answer it, I think it's around here. My kids are too afraid to try new foods. I think that was it, that they're afraid to try new foods. So explain to them that new foods are delicious. All kinds of foods are good. There's some foods we like, some foods we don't like. But you never know what you like or you don't like until you try it. And when you eat it and you say, I love this food. This is what it tastes like. This is what it feels like. Be mindful of the food you're eating. Have your child put something in their mouth and have them tell you about what it tastes like. Is it smooth? Is it salty? Is it chewy? Is it soft? Is it kinda crunchy? What is it? Talk about foods and teach your children to be mindful about what they're eating. And then you can do the same. You can eat something that they're hesitant to eat, say, "Let me tell you about this piece of food. Oh my gosh, it's so delicious. It's sweet. It's easy to chew. It's got lots of juice in it," whatever it is. Start describing food as you eat it so they can be encouraged. Now, another thing you can do is you can encourage their good habits with what I like to call the scoreboard. What type of parenting style do you suggest? So many options around the world. I'm so confused. My parenting style, because I'm so old and it's my parenting style, is respect. It is all about respect. Respecting your kids, them learning to respect you. What is part of that whole system that I teach my clients? Schedules, routines, uh, consequences, limits, boundaries, encouragement, big thing of encouragement, choices, calm communication, not yelling, respectful parenting incorporates, yes, there are still consequences. Why? Because in life we have consequences. Things don't always go your way, and you have to learn to understand it. Read it. I always save it. I do. I do save this. Uh, you have to learn and help your children to learn about disappointment, and that disappointment is not the end of the world. Please don't always give in to your child and don't always work to make your child happy. Yes, we all want our kids to be happy. I have 5 kids, 9 grandchildren. I'd love them to be happy 100% of the time. But is that reality? I ask you, you are adults. How many times in your life did things not go your way? A lot, right? Did you have a tantrum? Did you explode? What did you do to react when something doesn't go your way? That's what you have to teach your children, because you know what? Things that don't go our way are gifts. They're gifts, they're not tragedies. When we make mistakes, it's a gift. When we fail, it's a gift because it's an opportunity to learn. Trying new foods, it's an opportunity to learn. Do I like this food? Do I not like this food? Look at all these foods out there. It is important that we help our children deal with disappointment, not just not do something because they're going to cry. Oh, well, crying never killed a person. If they're going to cry, they're going to cry. If it's not something they can do, don't do it. Don't just give in. Tantrums are automatically fed by our subconscious mind. They're continued if they work. Don't give in. If you said no to something, it's no, whether they calm down or they don't calm down. Can you nurture? Can you love them? Absolutely. You can always nurture and love them. Children don't get spoiled by love. They get spoiled by getting their way all of the time. That's how they get spoiled. Love doesn't spoil a child. Giving in all the time spoils a child. I'm saying it again to kind of drill it into you guys. Make sure that you are offering them choices, the right choices. Saying to a child, you've got 5 more minutes, the alarm's going off, is not giving a choice. It's telling. Saying to a child, honey, you got 2 or 3 more minutes, what would you like, is a choice. Encourage them. I have a great scoreboard that you can use at home. If you're interested, put hashtag score in the comments. And then you're going to have to actually private message me your email, I guess, because I don't know how I send it to you if I don't send it by email. But it is a way to encourage your child to speak kindly, to eat, to get dressed in the morning, to go potty, to take baths, to brush their teeth. It's an encouragement system. Aren't you more motivated through encouragement than discouragement? Do threats motivate you? Or does encouragement motivate you? Always it motivates you. Always. Kids don't want to be threatened. If you don't do this, this is going to happen. They don't want to be screamed and yelled at. Do you like being screamed and yelled at? No, no one does. Become a proactive parent, not a reactive parent. I had a parent ask me, well, you must admit there are times when it's appropriate to hit a child. To which I ask, when is it appropriate for me to hit you? When is it appropriate for your spouse to hit you? It's never appropriate. And it's certainly not appropriate to hit a child with an underdeveloped brain. What if your child's tantrum compromises their or the people around them's safety? Okay, so then they have to remove. I'm guessing you mean they like kick or throw things or whatever. They have to be removed from the situation. Or if they have a tantrum in the middle of the store, pick them up, put them in the car, close the doors, turn on the radio real loud, and let them get over their tantrum. If things are unsafe, they're unsafe. No, never give in. Okay, let me put it this way. I have a tantrum. You say no. I want ice cream. Can I have ice cream? No, you can't have ice cream. It's dinner time. Ah, I'm screaming. I'm yelling. Ah, I want ice cream. I want ice cream. I want ice cream. I want ice cream. And you're like, okay, okay. Here, have some ice cream. What did I just learn? I just learned that if I scream and yell and act crazy, I get my way. So the next time you say, no, I can't do it, I'm just going to scream and yell. And guess what? You're going to give in to me. And it will happen again and again and again. It's basically instant gratification versus delayed gratification. We want to teach this to our children. You parents need to remember this. Yes, it's horrible when they're having a tantrum, but it will end quicker if you just give it time to end and you don't give into it. So if you give into it, guess what? Instant gratification, the crying stopped, but in the long run, they're going to keep having tantrums. If you don't give into it, guess what? Instant gratification is a little more difficult because they're still screaming, but in the long run, they will stop having tantrums whenever they don't get their way. And then you can take time to teach them how to react to disappointment and how to control their emotions, something we are not born with. I saw a video of this guy at a McDonald's, actually local to me. I'm in Maryland. It was some Maryland fast food place. And the guy is literally reaching in the drive-through window and throwing things and tearing apart things and screaming and yelling. And I don't even remember why. What was he having? A tantrum. That is a tantrum, albeit an adult tantrum. If you're screaming and yelling at your kids because they disappoint you, guess what you're having? A tantrum. And you're teaching them to do the same. Role modeling is such a huge part of your parenting journey. So big. You are the role model. If you're a picky eater, chances are they will be picky. If you see vegetables like a friend of mine did and went next to their son, is that child going to think vegetables are good? No, they just saw his mother go to vegetables. You have to role model what you want to see in your child. You have to be the example. Give them something great to copy. Okay, so guys, I have a client soon, so I have to go. I've loved being here with you. I thank you for taking all this time out of your busy schedule to spend some time here with me. I really appreciate it. Okay, I know you want to be in the video. I don't even really know how to do this, and I'm out of time. So I'm going to talk to my tech person about that. You're all so welcome. Oh my gosh, you're so welcome. I'm really grateful that you were here, and share this out. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I will save this, so it will be on my Instagram page and in Facebook and on YouTube and in LinkedIn, wherever you're watching me from. But Instagram people, it will be on here for you to check back and rewatch. Okay. I actually have that much technical ability. Although if you were here earlier, I went live and I didn't even know I went live, and I was like out in the kitchen, going to the bathroom, and it was on live. So sorry about that. Oh, I'm so glad, Kanan. Thank you. Thank you for joining me. All right, guys, as always. What am I going to tell you? If you have a teenager, I am part of the Teen Angst Summit. I will be speaking at 1 a.m. Eastern time. I wish I could tell you how to register for that summit. If you want summit, send me a message that you want the link to register for the summit. That's 1 o'clock Eastern time today on teenagers, okay, which are oddly similar to toddlers, don't you think? Just bigger. I've had them all, 5 of them. And I'll tell you, teenagers are oddly similar to toddlers. Okay, so I have to go. I can't remember what else I was gonna tell you, so I'm not gonna tell you anything else. Please mirror about 6-year-old tantrums, thank you. Same thing, Nana. What I said about tantrums, they're still having tantrums at 6. You need to stop giving in to them. Okay? Whatever you're doing, analyze it. If you're giving in, they're gonna keep having them. They only have them because they work, no other reason. So you have to stop having them work. As long as they're working, they're gonna keep doing it. Okay, gotta go, gotta go. I got a client and I gotta get ready. If you're interested in talking to me privately, go with talkwithcelia.com. Talkwithcelia.com. I'll spend an hour with you resolving what you need to resolve. Real, actual results. Okay? All right, guys, have a great day. As always, I wish you days filled with peace, love, tons of laughter. Really is the best medicine. I'm here live every Tuesday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And I'm live on Peanut, the Peanut app. If you're there, that's for moms with kids. On Thursdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. That's my new time for Peanut. All right, guys, I'll see you later. Thank you so much for being here with me. Happy days.